Welcome, everyone, to Season 2 of the Comedy Sports Podcast with your host, Christine Rollo Capriolo. Bringing back the man who started it all, Dick Tuna Chudnow.
Hello, wonderful listeners. Welcome back to the ComedySportz Podcast, Season 2. Season 2. I'm Christine Rollo Capriolo, your host. Hi, we're going to welcome our special guest today. We're bringing back our favorite, Dick Chudnow, for the beginning of Season 2. Dick, welcome back.
I'm your favorite Dick Chudnow.
You're my favorite.
There's so many others.
Dick Chudnow. Yes.
Some you don't like as much.
Well, yeah, you're tied for first. How are you?
I'm good. I didn't have COVID. Never got COVID.
You
and that's good.
are lucky.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah.
I'm vaxxed and boosted. I got COVID and it's terrible. I'm still suffering from some of it. So I'm glad you're safe and healthy.
You look healthy.
Well, okay. My brain, not so much. But yes, I think I'm okay, I hope. But thanks for coming back from Season 1. Now you're Season 2 starting us off.
Yeah. I'm very excited.
I'm excited
Look
too.
at me. Look at how excited I am.
You're very excited. I wish the listeners could see you dressed up today. You're wearing a tuxedo, so I decided to put on an evening gown.
You look lovely.
No, stop it. The heels are a little much. The heels are a bit much. But I thought we'd dress up for the start of this because we've been off the air for over a year with our episodes.
Did not know that.
Well, it was hard to interview people when you couldn't be around people. Right?
Yes.
You're the first person sitting here, though, in front of me. We have a couple in the can that we did some interviews before the pandemic, right?
Yeah,
and we
right.
released Season 1. Well, I
Right.
still have a bunch in the can from before the pandemic that didn't get released yet. And then we started interviewing some people, but we wanted to make sure we interviewed you for the start. So we kind of do this out of order.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, no.
Okay. So, but we interviewed a bunch of people for Season 1. Started with you.
Yeah.
Went to Bob Orvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember Bob? Your
I'm
old
Bob
partner?
Orvis. Yeah, Bob. Bob was a great friend in comedy sports. Don't see a lot of him anymore, but he was one of the most interesting guys I've ever met.
Yeah?
Bob Orvis.
Bob
yeah.
Orvis?
Yeah, he knew so many things.
Yeah.
Bob knew more stuff than most people don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense to me.
Well,
So what do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I was going to tell you the people we had on first season, and maybe you can give me a
okay.
little,
All right.
little anecdote.
Bob had a very messy office.
Very messy office.
Yeah, I entered it in a messy office contest once.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did mess it up a little more than it was messed up. He didn't win.
Oh, that's shocking.
Yeah, yeah, he did not win, but he was fun. And Bob ascribed to the comedy sports credo, motto,
Belief? Faith,
belief,
system,
belief,
values.
belief.
Belief.
He's subscribed to and one of the first guys to do it, to the sports aspect.
Oh, okay.
Of comedy sports,
Yeah.
and that's what drew him in
Yeah.
to comedy sports, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, God, he was funny too.
He was. He still is. He's still with us. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, and I think he's still writing and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had Brian Green on.
Brian Green. I'll tell you about Brian Green's audition.
Oh, okay.
It was horrible. It was. You know,
I hope he hears that.
Only 2 people showed up.
Yeah.
And Brian was one of them. And he couldn't do improv because he had never done it before.
Okay.
And we expected, somehow miraculously that people were going to be able to do improv just by saying, "Okay, now do improv. Right. Go ahead, do some improv." And he was really nervous.
Yeah.
He was really nervous.
Okay.
But he was so charming. He just had that
He's got something.
That stage persona.
Yeah.
That we knew, we have to take this guy.
Yeah.
He was.
And he's grown into the part.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. I wonder how many. I always wonder. I don't always wonder, but sometimes I wonder who's done the most comedy sports shows, and he's been there since 1984.
Okay.
And I
And still does it.
He still does it. And we should tally that sometime.
How is that possible? I know, like, that would be amazing.
It'd be an estimate.
Yeah.
1984, 2 shows a week, or 4 shows,
4 shows.
a week.
2 Friday, 2 Saturday.
2 Friday, 2 Saturday, and we used to do a Thursday and Sunday show.
Right.
too.
We used to do those, and there's a matinee.
So let me add that.
Oh, but okay.
Okay, so can I write it on here?
Sure. Yeah. Here, let's give you a new sheet of
Okay,
paper.
so
Go.
1984.
1984.
What is it now?
It's 2021.
2021. That's 7. Carry the 1.
Dick's doing math.
Is that 1? 12? No, wait. 11 times 3.
What are you doing? What kind of
Wait,
math
how many
is
years?
it?
137 years.
No, Dick. No,
Wow,
you can't.
that's-
Dick, no, give me that.
Okay, so 1984.
21.
21 minus 1984.
Right, so you put a 1 here, and you put the 1 over there, so it's 7.
So 37 years times 12 months.
Okay.
It's 14, 7, 2, 7, 3, 1, 4, 4. This must be fascinating.
This is fascinating for my
4,
listeners.
6,
Carry the 1. Okay.
1,600 1,600 months times 4 shows. Let's say 4 shows a month. And that doesn't include Summerfest.
Right, that's a
Doesn't include
totally different
Summerfest.
beast.
Well, that was a lot of shows
Right,
during Summerfest.
right.
That doesn't even include all the remotes that he did.
Which are, that adds thousands.
Yeah, so 4 times 4 is 16, 17, carry the 1,
carry the
25,
1.
22.
6,000.
That's 5,000
No,
shows.
you get a
That's
6.
just
Carry the
6.
2.
Carry the 2. 6,000 shows?
6,576. That would just be in-house shows. Is that possible?
I don't know. But thank you for letting me waste your time.
Well, after our Sir Brian Green, we had Bo Johnson.
Bo used to sit on the bench.
Okay.
He used to get hyped up for a show. I mean, super hyper, sweating bullets. And he ate a lot of garlic.
Okay.
That was his favorite food, is garlic.
So
Matter
he
of fact,
stunk
one
up
time,
there.
did I tell you a story?
No,
I was
tell
at his
me.
house. I was at his house once for dinner.
Yeah.
And he was having spaghetti.
Okay.
And at that time, I had stomach problems and I didn't eat garlic.
Okay.
And I said, Bo, I can't really eat garlic. And
Yeah.
he said, don't worry about it. I'll make 2 separate sauces, one with garlic, one without garlic. And so I said, great, that's really nice. So dinner came, and he said, this is the non-garlic bowl. And I put some on my spaghetti, and I took one taste, and I said, you got the bowls mixed up. This is garlic sauce.
Yeah.
He said, well, you got to have some garlic. You got to have something. No, you don't understand, Bo.
I can't.
But he used to sweat garlic, and it
yeah.
just used to smell like garlic.
Garlic sweat.
But one of the most talented guys. I mean, all these people that you're going to talk about are very talented people.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next, we've got Paula Foley-Tillin. We had our
Paula
keyboardist.
was incredible because we found a person who could transpose,
Yeah.
and which means that when we were off key, she could change the key of the piano,
Right.
and to what we were doing, which
Nice.
was important because
Yeah.
we really couldn't sing very well.
Well, no,
when we
you're not
first
trained
started.
singers,
no,
right?
No, we weren't trained in anything except silliness. Paula and Roger Hebner had a feud,
Oh.
and they would mess with the soundboard. So Roger would turn his sound pot, what do you call them? What do you call those things? Slider.
Slider. Okay.
She would turn his up, and then Paula would surreptitiously turn his down and turn hers up, and so the sound was constantly going in and out with the two of them. But she still is an amazing talent.
Amazing musician. Diana Delaney.
Should I tell you the story?
Tell me the story again. This is a good one.
Okay. We were having drinks.
Okay.
We were having drinks at a tournament, and I was sitting on a bar stool next to Diana, which she happened to this time remain sitting on, and she just turns to me.
She had a couple drinks at this point.
She had a few drinks,
A few?
yeah, and she just turns to me out of the blue and says, "You know, I've never been sexually attracted to you." Really? What if I grow a beard? What if I wear some snappier clothing, Diana? How about that?
She wasn't having it.
Just that's for no reason.
Speaking of beard, you're rocking the pandemic beard. You look very handsome.
I got a beard, and I shaved it off like last month.
And this is a month growth?
Well, no, 2 months.
Okay.
2 months. I shaved it off 2 months ago, and I didn't like what I saw.
Well,
You know,
so
I look
handsome either way.
just like.
It looks good.
I look. It covers my turkey neck.
Turkey neck.
Yeah. Yes.
Gobble gobble.
Yes. So I
right.
did that.
We got Patrick Short was after Diana.
Patrick Short came from Madison.
Mm-hmm.
ComedySportz. You probably know that already.
Mm-hmm.
And was so into the ref, being a ref.
Yeah, yeah.
He would wear, the dark splotches underneath the
really?
eyes, gloves, fingerless gloves, knee pads, and just would get completely decked out for reffing.
Yeah.
He was an excellent ref.
I never understood what the black marks on the face are for in football and sports. I mean, they say it's like for the reflection of the light for the sun, but yet you'll see people wearing them at night. I don't get it.
Who?
Like sports people.
Well, there's a lot of lights at night, too.
Yes.
Don't be so naive.
Don't be so Joe Cortese.
Oh, Joe Cortese.
Everybody knows Joe
Everybody
Cortese.
knows
Anywhere you go,
everybody.
They're like, hey, I know Joey Cortese. Hey.
Joe's a mafia guy.
Yeah.
Joe belongs to the mafia. And he'll be the first one to tell you that. You got to be careful with Joe. Don't do Joe a miss.
No, God.
No. You gotta be upfront with Joe.
No, everyone knows him. I took my son.
Everybody.
To a baseball card store. It was like some weird little tiny store. Like it looked like an old office with just crap everywhere. It was super small. It smelled of cigarettes. And somehow ComedySportz came up, and the guy's like, "Hey, yeah, you know Joe Cortese?"
Yeah,
I know
Joe
Joe Cortese.
Angelo
Angelo
Farina.
Farina, Joe
Yeah,
Cortese.
Joe once. I wasn't good at rapping.
Okay.
I was good at rhyming, but I couldn't put it together for a rap. And we went to L.A. for a show.
Yeah.
Flew to L.A. and he sat there with me the entire flight and rapped with me the entire flight. And by the time I was done with that flight, I still couldn't rap. I still couldn't do it. But
it's just not in.
But he spent that time. I thought that was fantastic. Yeah. Great guy. And everybody loves him.
Everybody loves Joe Cortese. Yeah. Kurt Scholler. Speaking of somebody everybody loves.
Yeah. Kurt came to us in a workshop and was immediately amazing.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say
just
he's
had
dreamy.
that energy. Dreamy?
He's dreamy.
He's dreamy.
I mean, like not in like a creepy crush way, but like in a like he's just so kind and funny and
he has this
and,
energy.
Yes, like
that just is. Some people. I don't know if you ever noticed it. Some people come through on media. They come through video or film because they have something. I don't know what it is yet, but not that I'm still trying to find out. But they just come through the media.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys that just came through.
Yeah.
John Plesnick was another one of those guys. And after I got my nose job, I didn't come through anymore. So it has something to do with the nose.
You got a nose job?
Yeah.
Now you're messing.
Yeah, my ex-wife made me do it.
Are you messing with me?
No.
You got a nose job?
Yeah.
And ever since
way back in 1970 something.
Because she pressured you to get a nose job?
She said, get a nose job. I got one. What do you got to lose?
My nose?
My nose, my identity.
Oh, so that's your number one regret in life.
My number one regret?
Nose job.
It's a regret.
Yeah.
It actually is.
Oh.
But it changed. It changed. You become a little different. I think you become a little different person. I can spot nose jobs from a mile away.
I never knew.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm just staring at your nose.
Yeah. Now I'm self-conscious.
Okay, let's move on.
Now I really got to go.
Mark Molnitsky.
Never heard of him.
No, me neither. Jeff Kramer.
I love all these people.
Yeah.
I truly do. But Jeff Kramer, I respect. There's like 4 or 5 people in comedy sports that I have this undying respect for, and he's one of them. Jeff is one of the most positive people I know.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know if you watch Ted Lasso.
I've never seen it.
Okay, well, it's basically the most positive person on earth.
Okay.
And Jeff is like that, where he's just positive. Everything's positive.
Yeah.
Even when he teaches workshops, he teaches it, and when he says something, he's nodding his head up and down.
And a yes.
Like, yes. This is like when you do this, you're doing that, and he's nodding his head up and down. Everybody's going, yeah, I'm with him, yeah. And so it's just
that's good energy to be around. Positive.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
that feels good.
Yeah,
yeah. All right, James Bailey.
Well,
Mr.
that's another one of my guys, and an amazing. Both these guys, amazing teachers. Mm-hmm. I don't know what makes a teacher amazing. What quality that is, where you give instructions and it's non-threatening, it's non-critical. It's just you feel it, that I can do nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I can do nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And that I think is key to teaching.
Yeah.
That instill that in your students, that I can do nothing wrong.
Right.
This is a class. I'm learning how to do stuff.
Yeah.
And so how can you fail?
Right. I used to be that kind of teacher.
Really? I imagine you're a great teacher.
No, I try. I've become grumpy.
I'm sure you're great.
I don't know.
Go ahead. Teach me something.
No,
Come
I
on.
can't.
Teach me how to draw an elephant.
Okay, so blank contour line drawing. Don't look at the paper. But
Right,
look at
I
your
knew
object.
that. I knew that.
Try to draw your hand without
the
looking at the paper. So look at your right hand. No, you have to look at your left hand. Hold your left hand up like this. Hold it up. Away from the paper. You're cheating. And now look at your hand and try to draw your hand. But you got to slow down slowly. As your eyes move along the edge of the object, your drawing hand moves. Like your eye and your hand with the pencil are connected. And every time you get to a new contour, a new edge, a new detail, a wrinkle, a nail, a ring, follow that. You're going too fast. You're terrible. You just have to drop my class. It's not working. Okay. Brian Capel.
I failed.
You failed my class.
Brian Capel.
Mm-hmm. We interviewed him. He was in Germany.
He started in Madison and then went to Washington, D.C.,
yes,
where he started ComedySportz with Pat Walsh. Mm-hmm. And they were partners. And what a sweet, just a sweet,
super nice,
sweet guy.
Yeah.
And then I forget why he moved to Germany.
I think it was a lady. I think I recall he met a lady.
Ooh, that didn't work out.
And it didn't end up working out.
Didn't
But they had
work
kids.
out.
I mean, they have like a couple boys together. Holly Ignatowski.
What a...
What? Oh, my God.
Did I say something wrong?
That is so opposite of who let's do.
Well, you don't know her very well.
I guess not. Dick, no. Holly Ignatowski.
Talk about positive and just sunshine. Miss Sunshine.
She's fabulous.
Happiest person. She's like my sister.
She's
just
wonderful.
everything is positive, and you can take the worst of circumstances. I'll tell you a story about my sister, and this is a little bit insight into what Holly's like. My sister is one of the most positive people I know. You know, all these people are pretty positive people.
Yeah.
Except what's his name?
I know. Don't talk about it.
And we were in the car with my sister, and we were driving along. We saw someone coming towards us, a homeless guy with bags overflowing a shopping cart, going down the middle of the street. And all of us, looked at the guy, and we were all thinking, oh, homeless guy. My sister says, "What fun."
What fun?
What fun. And so the guy's tooling along with the shopping cart, and, it looks like to her, this guy's having a good time.
Look at him carrying all of his belongings.
Look at all the stuff he's got. He's tooling down the road. And Holly has that kind of positive energy, I think. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know her at all.
No. Mia Roberts.
Oh, boy. Mia. Mia started, I remember, God, I can't remember how I talked her into starting Indianapolis. If she probably saw a show somewhere and maybe she asked if she could do it. But she started it with 3 people, Lynn Berger, Ed Trout. I think those 3 people started Indianapolis ComedySportz. And everybody loved her. Everybody loved Mia.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Mia.
Yeah, she was super fun.
Yeah, and unfortunately, she has MS and had some struggles with MS, and then she got. She's been a battler.
She has been. She got COVID, and it was real bad.
Yeah,
for her.
so she's had to battle all these stuff and just stayed positive the whole time.
Yeah.
I get a cold, and woe is me.
Oh my God, this is awful.
Yeah.
Rolly Cafaro. I could sit and talk to Rolly all day, every day.
My favorite Jew.
Cafaro, the Jew Cafaro.
He might as well be. He's. We're doing a project right now with Rolly.
You are? What are you doing?
We're just trying to write something.
Yeah?
Yeah, Rolly and Mike Kauth.
Okay.
And
oh my God, we have him coming up in season 2.
Yeah.
I love Rolly.
Everybody loves Rolly.
Oh my God.
Everybody. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Some people may dislike him, but they're really screwed up if they don't like Rolly.
Yeah.
But audiences loved him.
Oh, yeah.
What he would do is establish a relationship with one person in the audience and then kind of do the show for that one person.
For that one person, yep.
And that worked so well for him.
Yeah.
It was a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can't not feel good around him, talking about positive people.
Yeah.
Like, he just immediately makes you feel happy.
So if you have COVID, call Rolly and invite him over. You'll feel a lot better.
Don't invite him over, then he'll catch COVID.
Wear a mask.
Oh, my God. Then
What's wrong with my hand that I drew?
Well, Dick, it's like you didn't do any of the details, any of the, like, you got to draw the lines, the wrinkles, the...
Well, it was just the fingers that I drew.
Yeah, but look at your fingers. You have lines on your hand. Why didn't you draw any of those?
Because I'm a bad drawer.
You're not, Dick. You can draw. You can do anything.
I can. I'll tell you a story about drawing.
Okay.
All right. So you're an art teacher.
I am an art teacher.
You'll like this story, or you'll hate it. I was in 3rd grade.
Okay.
In love with my homeroom teacher, Miss Weeks, and Miss Arnold. And they were both gorgeous. I thought, when I was
babes, huh?
Yeah. But I saw Miss Weeks. I had a chance to honor her at a ceremony.
Really?
Yeah. I told her about loving her and being in love with her, and I told her that I used to fantasize that she'd be being robbed by burglars.
Yeah.
And because there were burglars when I was that age, and I would go by her window and I'd jump in and I'd save her, and then she'd have to marry me.
Oh.
And but I told her that anyway. So I was in love with these 2 teachers, and I was in art class, and the assignment was to draw something. Just draw something that shows you doing something.
Okay.
So I thought, I'll be really creative and I'll impress the hell out of them. Then both of them will have to marry me.
Both of them.
And so I drew me up in a balloon. I was in the basket.
Like a hot air balloon.
Hot air balloon. Yeah. I was up in the basket, looking over the basket, looking down over the scene in the meadow. In the meadow were sheep.
Okay.
So I had to draw me in the balloon and down sheep underneath. But I didn't know how to draw sheep's. How do I draw the legs? So they came by. They came by and they looked at my picture, and just both of them at the same time just burst out laughing, screaming, laughing. What happened is I drew they said, "What's that?" I said, "Those are sheep." He said, "What are those things sticking out from them?" I said, "Those are their legs." And they just died laughing, and that ruined my artistic career. I could never draw after that again.
Everybody can draw.
I became artistically impotent.
Oh. Were the sheep not impotent? Is that what they were laughing?
No, that's I am artistically impotent. I cannot draw.
You did.
You made fun of my hand.
Well, I thought we were doing a bit. It's fine. Everybody can draw. Anybody can draw. Look at your first drawing since your sheep with the 5 legs. This is really good. This is good.
Mm-hmm.
You did great.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. What do they know? It's okay. We had a couple leftover. These leftover turkeys here in season 1. Mark Redlick.
Yeah.
Tom Clark.
Intense. Mark Redlick.
The most intense ref on the planet.
Intense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very talented. He was the only one in our group that could really do music.
Well, he's in a band.
Yeah, he's got a great band. What's it called?
The Random Max.
Random Max. Excellent. Yeah.
And then we had old Tom Clark came in all the way from L.A.
For
the podcast.
He came in from L.A. to do the podcast.
Just for me. He literally flew in just for me.
Seriously?
Yeah, just me. And then he left. I took him back to the airport. He was here just for 2 hours.
Wow.
That's how much he's
a great guy.
dedicated to the craft.
Yeah. He's doing stand-up.
He is. He's doing stand-up all over
Incredibly
the place.
successful.
Yes.
Yeah. He always was more intrigued with stand-up than he was with improv, although he was a very good improv player also. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, Dave Bogan. Bogan.
Like I say, I have a special place in my heart for some people, and Bogan's one of those people. I met Bogan at UWM workshop where I was teaching this workshop for the night school or whatever you want to call it, the extension. Extension. He came in, and he was in with his girlfriend, and they couldn't find the room.
Okay.
But Bogan, being a Marine, wasn't going to give up.
I know.
So she was ready to go. Well, let's just go. We can't find the room. But he stuck it out and came to class and immediately was taken by the games.
Yeah.
And he's a Marine.
Yeah.
And I would love to have a troop. If I had to do it over again, I'd hire as many Marines as I possibly could. They understand having your back.
Oh, yeah.
They get that concept.
Sure.
And are just loyal players and loyal members of your team.
Yeah.
And I can't think of any other term except have your back.
Right. Yeah.
They support you on stage.
Yeah.
And that was always Bogan.
He's such a goofball. He's so fun.
Oh, he's so fun.
Yeah.
He's just a great guy, except for that one thing.
Well, we don't talk about that. And we did have PJ Rockwell, who's Mr. Voice. He does our intro, and PJ came in and we interviewed him.
Did he do his welcome to Comedy Sports?
Yes, he does it before every podcast for us. Dick. Hey, psst. Yeah, okay. PJ does that, yeah. Dick, you're turning blue. Dick, stop. That was really good.
I hope you don't cut that.
So yeah, PJ came in and he does all of our intros for the podcast too.
Yeah.
Love his voice and love his massages, by the way.
Oh, I never had a massage from him.
What? I go every 2 weeks.
Do you really?
I do. Self-care.
I need a massage.
You got to go call
But
PJ.
I don't want to go to Massage Envy. So I went there.
No,
I went
'cause
there.
then they do
I went
weird
there
things.
once,
It's
and
bad.
there was a young girl who was massaging me. A young, I don't know how old she, 20s or something like that, and she just wasn't interested in it. And
Put in
just-
you or the massage?
No, the massage. She
Okay.
just was, rubbing,
Yeah.
like she was putting on icing on cake or something.
Oh.
You just and then she just started rubbing my arm, and forgot what she was doing, and she rubbed it raw.
Raw?
I had a big raw red welt on my arm from that, inside of my arm.
No.
Yeah, that was massage envy.
Don't go there. Call PJ.
I will.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so that tied up our season 1, man. We went through all those people. It was
that
so
was all
much fun.
season 1.
That was
Wow.
all season 1. You started it off. You're starting off season 2. We got a bunch in the can for season 2.
Wow.
Got some exciting people coming in. Mike Kauth, Tim Higgins, Dave Nelson, Alan Koskowski, Peter Alberts, Courtney Pong, Braun, all the way from England. She flew in just for an hour. And Mike Rock.
No, she didn't.
She did. She flew in and we sat here and chatted in Kyle's living room and she flew right out.
Are you serious?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
No, I interviewed her, though,
I
over the
believe
Zoom.
anything. I believe. You can tell me anything.
Yeah. So we're going to have a great season 2.
Yeah. Yeah, those all every one of these persons is fascinating. I skipped over Mark Molinitsky. You remember he was the pretty boy in Comedy Sports. The teenage girls loved Mark.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. I hope I did.
I hope he listens and hears you call him the pretty boy of Comedy Sports. He had the hair.
He had the hair. He was
long
cute.
hair.
Yeah.
The dimples.
I kind of fell for him.
Yeah, a little bit.
All these people that you mentioned have such fascinating stories, and
Yeah, and hopefully our listeners listened to season 1
Yeah.
and they heard all their stories.
Yeah.
We don't have to recap all their stories, but I just wanted a quick thought of each of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And then chat with you a little bit, Dick, about
Yeah.
your Comedy Sports. What would you do differently if you went back in time and started this whole thing all over again? Is there anything you'd do differently? Anything you're like, I wish I did it that way?
Marines.
But the Marines. Hogan would be in charge of the world.
More Marines. I would do what I would do differently is that I wouldn't get drunk at the meetings we used to have and make outrageous promises.
That never came to fruition.
Well, no, that did.
Oh.
That did because I promised to do that.
So you won't break a promise?
No,
Okay.
no, I won't. And I won't reveal a secret.
Really?
Do you have any?
I'm not telling you any of my secrets.
Okay. No, I made some promises that were kept. Having to do with money and having to pay everybody, not knowing anything about business, promising a certain percentage of the gross, not knowing what that meant. And I also would have made sure that people did all the roles in Comedy Sports, that they did hosting, that they did the booth.
Got it.
So they understood all that, and they understood what people had to do those jobs and respect that.
Yeah.
I would have done that. I would have made workshops, practices mandatory.
Really?
Practices, yeah, we call them practices. We
Why?
made them
What are your thoughts
mandatory.
on that?
Well, Comedy Sports is a sport.
Right.
Can you imagine baseball players practicing once a week,
Right.
or
Just doing their
or
games.
when they felt like it?
Yeah,
when they felt like coming to practice.
Yeah.
you have to practice all the skills. So you have to practice rhyming.
Right.
You have to practice gibberish. You have to practice all these elements of Comedy Sports to be good in them. You can't
Right.
just walk up on stage and know gibberish
Right.
or rap. You have to get Joe Cortese in a corner with you. And
Well, then
do
what
rap.
about Brian Green, who's done over 6,000 shows, and he says he doesn't need practice? What would you say?
that if you have someone on your team in any sport and they don't come to practice, it's harder to play with them.
Right. Oh, because you don't know them. Yeah,
You
see, I
don't-
think it's the
you
building
don't-
the relationships.
You don't know them.
Right.
And you don't know how to feed them
Right.
in a show, how to make them stand out in a show.
Right. Right.
Because that's one thing Bob Orvis was really good at. He would make other people stand out in a show.
Yeah. That's what I always say about Paul Stazak, who I would love to interview for this podcast.
And he won't do it.
He won't do it. He's like super suspicious.
Really?
I don't know what it is, but he won't do it. But hopefully I'll get him. But he, I thought, was so good at doing that. And like being not the main character in a scene, but like the supporting role that would lift everyone else up.
That everybody,
Yeah.
So you know So if you know someone sings, you're playing with Mark Redlick,
Right.
and you're doing a scene, and you say, Mark says something like, "Yeah, I'm going to the store." Yeah. Hey, what about that song that you know about going to the store? So he has to sing the song about going to the store.
Right.
And that's what you miss if you don't practice with people.
Right.
I think.
Yeah. Well,
I totally understand feeling like, well, I know all the games, and you don't, because there's always new games.
Right.
You're always working on new games or variations of new games, and you won't pick those up.
Right.
Now, we used to, a long time ago, we used to come in with games when we were in the green room. Say, I got a new game, and everybody would go, okay, what is it? And then you play it, and that doesn't happen much anymore.
Yeah. Well, we used to do Game-O-Matic,
Yeah.
right, where we'd get like a name of a game that didn't exist from the audience.
You get a verb and a noun or something from the
Yeah.
audience, and you put it together and create a game based on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, when the team would leave the room and while the other team's playing, they would come up with the game and come
Right.
back in. But it kind of always was very similar to another game after
You use
a
elements
while.
from the other games.
Yeah.
Right. But I that's another thing I would have changed, that having practices and made them mandatory. And you wouldn't play. If you didn't practice, you couldn't play. And I would have tried to do that also.
Yeah. Well, it does make a difference. When I performed in Madison, we did have practice that
Yes.
you had to go to, right?
Right.
And then coming to Milwaukee, there wasn't a practice.
Right.
And you're right. I mean, I felt the camaraderie. You were more comfortable with the people that you knew and you spent more time with and played with, and then not having that definitely makes a difference.
Right. And you create new games in practice.
Yeah, and you come up with just silly,
And
right.
you create them together. That's another thing you do together.
It's hard though, because some people do. When I came to Milwaukee, only did ComedySportz. Like that was their full-time gig, right? And then, but other people, like Rolly's a lawyer and had kids.
Right.
Like now I'm an art teacher and have kids. So it's hard to sometimes fit in that time, but it shouldn't be. It's only 2 hours a week, right? I mean,
Right. And I don't know, it is different nowadays.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who actually have jobs, which I don't understand.
I don't
It's
either.
so
I wish
bizarre.
I didn't anymore. I'm like, give me
Weird.
retire.
So they can't. Yeah, they can't come to practice.
Right.
But you're right. There is a Sunday night.
Yeah,
you know?
like you can fit it in every once in a while. You can definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there are. Mike Kauth is running practices now, and
in Milwaukee, yeah.
Yeah, and it's you don't get any of the older people coming to the practice.
No.
Old. We got so old.
That's how I feel where I'm teaching now. Like I look around and there's all these new teachers, and I'll ask my coworker, my really good friend in my art department, her name's Sarah. And I'm like, Sarah, who's that? She's like, I don't know who that is. Like we've become the old birds now, the veteran people who like the young people come in and must be like, look at these old people. We're the old people.
Yeah, that's a very interesting story, but this is about me.
Right. Okay. So what do you see as the future of ComedySportz? I mean, I know you're like retired, right? Like, are you putting in a lot of time?
Yeah, I put in time. I go in, and Alex is running it. Alex is running everything. Alex Thien.
Alex Thien in Milwaukee.
And he's doing an amazing
Yes, he
job.
is. He's great.
He really is. He's very popular, isn't he? People like him.
People like him.
Yeah. And he's so I go in and chat with him. We talk about what's happening, what's going to happen, what didn't happen, what could happen, and all that stuff. And so he kept things going when things looked like they weren't going to.
Yes,
like we
he was
were
great
gonna
during
have
the
to.
pandemic.
Yeah, he started getting remotes during the pandemic, and kept us afloat. And then we got a government loan, which helped keep us afloat. But he basically did it. So I do stay involved that way, but otherwise I go to Mike's practice every once in a while to keep doing some improv. It's just still fun.
Do you miss it? Do you miss performing?
Yeah, I wish I was a better performer. I wish I was faster. You lose so much when you get older,
Yeah.
in your stage coordination, you move slower. You're not,
memory.
You're just
like
not
I have
as
a hard
quick.
time with memory. I can't keep things in my head like 6 things as I'm guessing, or I can't keep it in my head.
And references, you don't get the
you
references.
don't get the pop culture references anymore. No, not at all. That's one thing. Speaking of Mark Molnitsky, back in Madison, he would remember VCRs, like you could record shows, right? I mean, now it's a DVR, but he would record like 90210 and Melrose Place and Letterman, and he would record all these shows and watch them just for the pop culture references. And I'd ask him, like, do you like watching Beverly Hills 90210? Do you like Melrose Place? He's like, no, not at all. Then why are you doing that? And he's like, just so I know about it. He always wanted to know those references because they came up all the time.
Yeah.
For suggestions.
Right.
But now it's impossible, though, with so many streaming things. I mean, you can't possibly know everything, but
I do.
except you. you do.
I know everything.
So what is the future of comedy sports, do you think?
Well, it's in very capable hands. And the National Executive Council is filled with, has people that are driving things forward, and they're very concerned about sexual harassment issues, and they've set up things that if that happens, we can deal with it, so it doesn't go any further, et cetera. So they've been very good at that. We get applications for new cities. All
really?
the time, Anchorage, Alaska applied,
Really?
and before the pandemic,
Okay.
and then after the pandemic stopped. But now, if things clear up,
Yeah.
There's going to be these applications for comedy sports in the city. It's going to grow that way.
Really?
Adding new cities.
Yeah.
One city folded, Denver folded, but other cities have flourished. I think that a medium-sized population like Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Indianapolis are all cities where it really works well. If you have a city like New York and Los Angeles, it's a little more difficult because there's so much competition. But they found a niche, a niche.
No, he's a philosopher. They made it work.
They made it work in their city.
Right.
Yeah, they did.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. They made it work. Yeah. Wait, so when you say like Anchorage, like when a city applies, what are they sending you, like a telegram? Like how do people are they showing up at your door, Mr. Chudnow?
Interested in starting comedy sports.
So where do they send that to?
To the league.
Oh, okay.
To Matt Elwell. And he sends a form that they have to fill out. It's an application form, and it is so detailed, financial status and very complicated and serious.
Mother's maiden name, dogs.
Do you have a dog?
Blood type.
Do you have a dog?
No.
Why?
I'm allergic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you wouldn't be able to start a comedy sports city. Sorry. So it's a detailed application form, and if that passes and the executive council votes on letting them in, then it goes to the whole league, and the managers have to vote.
Okay.
I think.
You ever voted down a city? Like, we're not going there.
We should have. Well, back in the old days, someone would call me and say, "Can I start comedy sports?" Sure. Send me $25 or something. Send me something. Send some sandwiches.
Some sandwiches.
And you can start. You can play comedy sports because I wanted it to grow. I wanted everybody to do it. So yeah, I was pretty lenient about who did comedy sports. Some of them worked out, but some of them worked out horribly. There's one story about a guy in Ann Arbor, and they had the greatest space in the world. Yeah. They had a German beer hall, and they used to sell out. It was on campus.
Oh, God, yeah.
It was on the campus, and they used to sell out. But I used to get calls from people saying, this guy's a monster. Oh. And I won't mention his name because I can't remember it, but I would. And he used to get calls saying, he says, "Guy, I'm quitting. I can't work with this guy." And the people would leave, and so he ended up. It was at that time it was we were doing 5-on-5, and now
5-on-5.
Now we do 3-on-3. We were doing 5-on-5, And he would send in reports. So the next show would be 4 on 4.
Right.
And the next show would be 3 on 3.
Because people were leaving.
And people were leaving. And then it was 2 on 2 with,
it was just him.
with a referee. Just about.
No.
The last show that he did was him and one other person, and he was the referee.
What? What was so bad with this guy?
He just had an ego,
Yeah.
a tremendous ego, and so you couldn't make any suggestions because if you made a suggestion, it meant that he wasn't doing his job or that it was a threat.
Yeah,
Any suggestion was viewed as a threat.
Okay.
And that ego is a huge problem with managers because you have to lose that.
Right.
Yeah, and it takes a while before you figure that out. Yeah.
So you said Anchorage, Alaska?
Yeah. Well, and there was an army base on in Afghanistan.
What?
Where this was a while ago, where some guy wanted to start one on the base. Can you imagine that?
No.
That would have been amazing.
Wow.
So yeah, and I have a box of applications from all over the world and all over the United States of people who wanted to start it, but that as soon as you send them an application, that this is more than just getting a bunch of people together and where there's no leader, we'll all be one.
Yeah. Then it just didn't happen for a lot of places.
Didn't happen for a lot of places, yeah.
So a lot of times I'll listen to interviews, different actors and actresses talking about being in movies or TV shows, and they'll reference sometimes like following the script, right? Obviously, because it's a written show. But sometimes people talk about, oh, yeah, we were able to improv and kind of ad-lib and stuff. I'd love to hear about that in movies when like a whole scene you can tell or they shared that
Usually,
it was ad-libbed, right?
Usually you can.
Don't you think it's so important to have that training in improv to understand how to be able to do that? Or am I just crazy? Like I don't know. I prefer it more than scripted stuff.
Well, that's true, and you're crazy.
Yeah.
Both.
Oh.
I wish more actors felt more comfortable with improv.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Basically, you're making in each art. And it's interesting to talk about improv as an art because someone is trying to put something together in a college setting, and it's a program, a PhD, and this committee is rejecting it because improv isn't an art like music or art,
or visual arts,
visual art. So it's hard. That's a whole different topic. Okay. You're talking about actors doing improv.
Right.
They're afraid of it. They're afraid of improv. I think you tell an actor, "Hey, take an improv workshop." Oh, I could never do that. I could never do improv. You're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You're in the moment. Acting, and if you're not in the moment acting, the audience knows it, and they're not enjoying it. It's not a show that you should be doing if you're not in the moment. Same thing with improv. If you're not in the moment, it doesn't work. So it's basically the same thing. You have to make it look like the first time.
Right.
And in improv, it is the first time. In acting, you're making it look like the first time.
Yeah.
And some people are really good actors because they can do that.
Right. I think so. Like when you find out someone's history, like, oh, they started in Second City or they went through ComedySportz or, you can tell they seem like they have so much more to give when they're acting, so much more comfort level. And
oh, yeah. I think the more skill you have with different modalities, so to speak. That's a big word. You're more comfortable on stage and doing all these different aspects of performance. And what's his name? Who's Ted Lasso? What's his name?
Jason Sudeikis. He started in ComedySportz. We got to get that turkey on here.
Yeah, and he may do it.
He may do it while you talk to him?
No.
No, you ever meet him?
But he talked about ComedySportz.
I know he did on what was that? Fallon or Kimmel or something.
Yeah, so he might do a podcast remotely. I don't think he'll come.
Well, he'd fly in for me for an hour, wouldn't he?
Well, if someone flies in from England to do, and then she leaves right away. People do anything you want them to do.
Yeah. We'll get him. Maybe we'll get him. Hey, speaking of scripted stuff, did you ever do stand-up?
Yes.
You did? I can't remember if we talked about it because my memory's shot, but tell me about it.
Yes, I did stand-up. Okay, I'll tell you. I did stand-up. I was doing okay.
Yeah.
It was visual, a lot of visual humor.
Yeah.
Balloon Olympics and things like that. And I was approached by, what's his name, who has the Improv, who owns the Improv, Bud Friedman. He owned it in L.A.
Oh, okay.
And he approached me and wiggled his finger in my face and said, "I'm going to make you a star."
Oh.
I said, "Oh, that's great. What are you going to do?" He said, "Well, first of all, you have to take a bubble bath with me."
What?
No, he didn't say that.
Okay. I was like, what? I had a boss say that to me once.
And he said, "I'm going to put you on a bill with Robin Williams."
Yeah.
And I had only been doing stand-up for a couple months.
Oh my gosh.
So that was pretty amazing to me. And I went to the show, and there was four comics, and it was the entire NBC casting, and it was about 200 people from NBC.
Okay.
So if you did well, you think, well, this could be the big break.
Yeah.
And first comic went up, and he just bombed terribly. He was just bombed, and no one liked him. They booed him. He went off. He ended his set early and went off stage. Second guy goes on, and he's booed by the audience, and he gives him the finger and walks off stage. And I'm thinking, oh my God,
This is terrible.
I'm next.
Oh no.
But instead, Bud introduces Robin Williams.
Yeah. And he killed it.
No.
Oh.
He went on for 2 hours trying to establish a new character that he had developed, and it wasn't working. Well, Robin Williams couldn't get off the stage without this new character working. So he went on and on and on,
Oh my God.
and it never worked. And he went off, and Bud Friedman said, and now,
Dick.
ladies and gentlemen, what a treat this is going to be. New comic who you're going to love, Richard Chudnow. And I running up on stage, and I turn and look out, and all I see are rear ends and backs of people.
Leaving.
Chokes me up. It absolutely choked me up. People leaving. Everybody left.
Oh, no.
The only one that stayed was the guy who gave the audience a finger. And I was doing my set, and he was heckling me.
What? No, he wasn't.
And the only one in the audience. And he was heckling me. And afterwards, I went up to him. I said, why? Why would you choose to do that?
Yeah.
He said, well, it just makes you tougher. Just trying to toughen you up. And that was the last time I ever did stand up.
Oh, what year is that?
77, maybe, right around there.
Now, fast forward to, was it 80?
80. I came back here 80, end of 82.
But when Robin Williams came to ComedySportz Milwaukee, was that 87?
Later than that, 80, 89, I think.
Did he remember you? Did you remember, did you meet him?
From there? Oh, yeah. I met him several times because my roommate was his agent.
Okay,
or
so
his management. So I met him a lot.
Yeah.
But he didn't remember me from when he came in.
No.
I don't think. We didn't greet each other like we were old friends.
He seemed to be a force, just amazing.
Best improviser ever.
Yeah,
I mean, no one can touch him.
Yeah,
He was just amazing.
amazing.
I think everybody learned something from playing with him because he played off of every single thing anybody did.
Yeah.
Physically or verbally.
Yeah.
He would play off that. He was amazing.
Now, where did that come from? It was just natural in him.
Had to be.
He was just, that's like teaching. Like, I'll see some students who are just naturally gifted. Like, I've done nothing, and they're just amazing,
Right.
gifted with visual
Right.
arts. That's him. I
Right.
mean, with acting and improv and character, and such a tragedy. So sad we lost him.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, he was just an amazing man.
a force.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a force.
Yeah.
A force, definitely. I have a speed round for you. Are you ready? These are quick questions, quick answers. Okay, so don't dilly dally.
I have to be home by 8:30.
That's right. I gotta leave soon. I gotta go birding. I want to go look for an owl. So
Tell
okay,
me,
other
what time
than
is it?
marshmallows, what other?
Is it 3 o'clock?
It's three.
Wow.
What time do you have to get home?
8:30.
Okay. I'm not sitting here with you till 8:30. Other than marshmallows, let's do a speed round here, okay?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Marshmallows.
Yeah, Dick, you're very famous for combining games with the marshmallow game.
Yeah.
Other than marshmallows, what other food would you incorporate into a game?
We once did crackers.
Crackers, like saltines.
Saltine crackers. Yeah. So every time you made the audience laugh, you had to put a saltine cracker in your mouth.
Oh, that got
And
nasty.
so the idea was that you're going to spray all these crumbs all over the place.
Right.
But it's saliva, and it just makes it one big wad of crackers in your mouth.
That's nasty.
That was dumb.
Well, what about, oxygen deprivation is a game I remember playing a lot in the high school league.
Yeah.
So somebody always has their head in a bowl of water.
Yeah.
And then when you no longer can breathe, you'd hold your hand up and someone
Yeah.
would tag you
Yeah.
out, and then you'd get out and they'd stick their head in
Yeah.
the bowl. And I never thought of how much snot and spit was in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, what could you put in the bowl instead of water? How about a bowl full of Jell-O?
Jell-O.
Yes, Jell-O. That would be so nasty.
Yeah.
Okay, would you rather start a show with what are you doing or sideline debate? You personally.
Sideline.
Sideline.
Yeah. You get
I thought you'd say
great
what are you
audience suggestions.
Yeah.
You get everybody involved,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty high energy. I'm just tired of what are you doing to start shows.
doing? Yeah.
But by the way,
Yeah.
you can combine any game with any other game.
Okay,
I worked out a chart. I worked out a chart once.
Yeah.
With it's a brainstorming game where you have dimensions. You have the games on top, and you have other games on the side.
Like a multiplication chart.
Yeah,
I'm doing that with my daughter.
That's right.
now. Yeah.
And you just draw a line from one game, draw a line from the other game, and
And
they
they
meet,
meet.
and then
Yeah.
and see if you can do that game.
Ah.
And you should be able to do any game, any two games combined.
5 things
Yeah.
and marshmallows.
Yeah.
You would do that. You'd be like, okay, I'm going to play 5. It's our audience. It's our team choice. We're going to play 5 things, marshmallows Shakespearean style.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. It's perfect.
Well, you can. I mean, it's obvious how you combine that. If people laugh,
Right.
you put a marshmallow in your mouth, and if you're doing 5 things, you're having to describe,
Right.
do gibberish with
Shakespearean
marshmallows
style.
in Shakespearean style.
Yeah. So is it fun for the players or is it fun for the audience? What if it's the audience first time seeing the show? Will they get it?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I don't think we give audience enough credit
Yeah.
for them understanding what we're doing, and
Okay.
even to the point of not explaining the game before we play it.
Right.
They'll get it.
Sure,
And they
of
have
course.
that discovery. And you know that teaching is discovery.
Yeah.
If you can have a student discover something,
Yeah.
they learn it.
Sure.
So discovery is a huge factor in playing comedy sports. I think, okay. Now they feel engaged.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to explain all these games.
That's a good point. I like the shorter refs. I don't mean physically.
I like shorter refs too.
Oh.
I like short people.
So, what's your favorite food?
Tuna fish.
That's because that's your nickname.
I know it's my nickname, but that's why it's
Is it
my
really?
nickname. Yeah, I love tuna. I love salmon.
I like salmon.
Just you could give me a diet of fish,
Me
nothing
too.
but
Good
fish,
fillet. Yeah.
and
yeah.
I would just eat fish.
What's your favorite Cops custard flavor? If you tell me you don't like Cops, so help me God, I'm erasing
It's
myself.
embarrassing.
Vanilla.
Yeah,
That's okay.
it's okay.
You gotta go for vanilla.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I like that's my
I will.
favorite
I
flavor.
will get a vanilla scoop when I'm feeling fat because vanilla has less fat in it. Because
Is that
just
right?
Vanilla. Mm-hmm.
Strawberry too, probably good.
Right. Well, because that's healthy then. That's a fruit salad. Would you rather put on a pair of shoes filled with duck guano? Is that poop? What's
Yeah,
guano?
duck poop,
Guano is poop.
poop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather put on a pair of shoes filled with duck poop or a hat full of raw eggs?
Am I wearing socks?
I don't know. No. Do
Just
you normally wear socks with your shoes?
yeah.
Okay, well then, yeah, you're
I
wearing
think
socks.
I'm wearing socks. Yeah.
Duck poop?
I don't know. I'd probably choose the eggs.
I can envision you with a hat full of raw
I
eggs.
could raw
that'd
eggs.
be a bit.
Yeah.
You're like,
that's okay.
there's Dick with his raw egg hat again.
Hey, yeah, and you take off your hat and all the eggs
And all the
fall
eggs
over
were all
you.
like
It's just-
oozing down. And you'd act like nothing was going on.
You're right.
Would you, this is a good one. Would you rather always have to eat a small bowl of lard and a small bowl of mayonnaise with every meal, or Sleep in a bed of anchovies and Limburger cheese.
Ooh, I like anchovies, but the smell would be too overwhelming. What was the first one?
Eat every meal. You have to eat a small bowl of lard and a small bowl of mayonnaise.
Can it be butter instead of lard? Does it have to be lard?
It's got to be lard.
I would choose if health wasn't an issue.
Sure.
I would choose the lard and the mayonnaise. I love mayonnaise. I love butter.
Okay, I like butter.
And it didn't say that I had to just eat it with a spoon. I could put it on something. That's my rule.
Would you rather spread nose pickings?
Yes.
Or the skin from a bunch of popped blisters over your cereal?
What are the two things again?
You're eating a bowl of cereal, right? Would you rather spread nose pickings, your boogers on it, or skin from a bunch of popped blisters over
Who
your
are the
cereal?
popped blisters from?
Well, maybe you. What's your boogers or your blisters? What are you going to
Boogers.
eat? You eat your boogers?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
boogers
it's
are
nasty.
nutritional.
Oh, they're nutritional.
There's vitamins.
Would you rather
and
mud
minerals.
wrestle nude in front of your family or wear a diaper and act like a baby in front of someone you have a crush on?
This is an easy one. I wouldn't want to be nude in front of anyone.
No.
For any reason whatsoever. I wear clothes when I take a shower. But we used to play we did a bit with a baby in not Comedy Sports, in Kentucky Fried Theater.
Kentucky Fried Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did a baby bit?
Yeah, it's a baby bit. Came out as a baby in a diaper.
Yeah.
And went into a center of a bunch of people. Or no, one person would come up and go, "Oh, how cute, look at the little baby." And another person would come in, "Oh, goo, 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 goo." Another person, until there were like 6 people around this little baby. And then the baby would crawl out and they'd still be going, look at the little baby. You had to see it. It was hysterical.
I'm sure.
People would leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Happy. Okay.
So if Comedy Sports never came to be, if you never did that, I know you were a teacher for a while. Do you think you still would have taught? You think your life would have been a teacher life?
Yeah. Well, if Kentucky Fried Theater had never come about, I was about to get my master's.
Really? In education?
In improv.
In improv?
Yeah. I was.
But if that didn't happen, you're not listening to the question. If you weren't a part of improv and Comedy Sports, what would your life have been?
Tuna fish.
Tuna.
Was that the question?
Yeah.
It would have been teaching.
Teaching?
Yeah. I enjoyed teaching. Probably theater and speech.
Really?
And English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not drawing, because this is just... Dick, it was so nice to have you here again.
It's nice being here.
It was lovely. I just love hanging out with you. It's like hanging out with my
I'm looking forward to
friends.
the third season.
The third season, yes, because after the next pandemic, we'll release season 3.
Don't bite your words.
Oh my God, this has been miserable. I haven't touched on it much in the podcast.
Knock on your tongue.
Knock on something, because it's just...
Okay, let me ask you something.
Yeah?
Christine.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I borrow your glasses?
You're not going to be able to see.
Would you rather
you can read these.
drink 20 cups of stale black coffee
I hate
or
coffee.
eat 20 large bags of pork rinds?
Oh, my dad once shoved pork rinds up his nose. He did. He'd shoved a piece of popcorn up his nose once and he couldn't get it out.
Why do you do that?
I don't know how to be funny. He's my number one fan. I think I'd drink I don't like coffee, but I'd probably drink coffee instead of pork. I don't eat pork. I'm not a meat eater.
Yeah. You vegetarian?
No, I used to be. I'll eat poultry and fish now, but I haven't had red meat since 8th grade. It was at least 10 years ago. Dick, you're a dream. It was so lovely to talk to you again. Do you think you'll come back for season 3?
Sure.
Sure.
I'll do whatever you want me to do.
It was so nice to see you.
This is fun.
I'm glad you've been safe and healthy.
You're a great interviewer.
Oh, I am?
You really are.
No,
Yeah.
thanks.
You are.
I don't know. I'm having some self-doubt lately.
No, you are. You're excellent.
Oh, well, thanks, Dick. I appreciate
And I've
it.
been interviewed by the best of them
Well, and
and the worst.
them the worst. Dick, it was fabulous to see you. I love you, sir.
Thank you for inviting me. And
Thank you for creating what has become such a wonderful part of so many people's lives.
It's positive.
It is
it's
positive.
a positive thing. And
positive.
that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
That's my if I had to pick one thing,
Yeah.
that would be it. how it's a positive entity in the world.
It really is.
So
It really is. And everyone I've talked to says that. They go on and on about how absolutely positive and wonderful and life-changing it has been. Full of love. Love and funnies.
Love and funny.
Love and funnies.
Funny love.
All right, Dick Chudnow. Hey, listeners, I hope you stick around for the rest of Season 2. Thanks, everybody. I'm Christine Rollo Capriolo, and this is Dick Tuna Chudnow.
That's me.
Signing off.
All right. Bye. Okay.
Kyle, are you still awake? The ComedySportz Podcast is produced and engineered by Kyle Hanneken. Our announcer is PJ Rockwell. Feel free to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Comments and inquiries can be sent to the ComedySportz Podcast at gmail.com. Created and hosted by me, Christine Rollo Capriolo. Catch you next time.
The ComedySportz Podcast is an independent production made by CSz players. The views and opinions expressed by the podcast host and any guests are their own and do not represent the views and opinions of any CSz location or CSz Worldwide. Vocabulary used by the host and guests is not necessarily representative of the CSz brand.